I thought you were dead.
ABC with a swift and decisive response, canceling Roseanne, only hours after her racist tweet about former Obama White House advisor Valerie Jarrett. Social media has become both a battlefield and bullhorn in our country as it reckons with long simmering differences over racial, social, and political issues. Opposition on each side, armed not with pitchforks and torches, but keystrokes and hashtags. Today's hashtag was boycott ABC, some using it to argue that Roseanne should be fired, but others after the decision was made that she shouldn't have been.
She was a Trump supporter in real life and her character, and there were a lot of people who liked the show because of that, and they believe that's the reason the show was canceled. So ABC will still face a backlash because of that, but they will overcome it. And that's a backlash they can endure by being on the right side of racism.
And today, while ABC faced backlash for Roseanne's comments, Starbucks was responding to backlash of its own, closing stores across the country midday for an afternoon of anti-discrimination training.
We're going to train 175,000 Starbucks partners, we call all our employees partners, on this anti-bias training. And we realize that this is just one step in a journey.
They didn't do anything. I saw the entire thing.
That step, a direct response to this video that went viral last month, showing two black men being arrested for what police said was trespassing at a Philadelphia Starbucks. The incident sparked outrage and indignation across the country. There were calls for boycotts. Starbucks was accused of racism.
The point is that this moment represents a time in American life where corporations can't get away with the same old status quo response to racism.
The men, Rashawn Nelson and Dante Robinson, were in Philadelphia's upscale Rittenhouse Square area, waiting to meet a potential business associate who lives in the neighborhood.
It's a real estate meeting.
Okay.
We've been working on this for months.
They had arrived early, and Rashawn says he asked the woman at the counter if he could use the restroom.
She stated that they were for paying customers only, and I just left it at that.
Minutes later, the manager called the police.
Hi, I have two gentlemen at my cafe that are refusing to make a purchase or leave.
The police arrive, and so does Andrew Yaffe, that friend they were waiting for.
Well, what did they do? What did they do?
Rashawn and Dante were arrested and held in custody for several hours. Without delay, company chairman Howard Schultz acknowledged on CBS that bias was at the root of what happened.
The reason that they were called was because they were African American, and I think I'm embarrassed by that. I'm ashamed of that.
Kevin Johnson, Starbucks CEO, apologized.
I'll say the circumstances surrounding the incident and the outcome in our store on Thursday were reprehensible. They were wrong. And for that, I personally apologize to the two gentlemen that visited our store.
And today, Starbucks took things a step further with company-wide training on diversity.
We have a set of content that includes a workbook for teams to work together, some video content, a lot of self-exploration, and group discussion. And so it's a very experiential activity. In fact, the entire leadership team and I took this training last week. And I'd say at the end of it, we were emotionally exhausted. But we were inspired because we learned something and we felt like this could open up a dialogue and allow us to not only be better individuals, but allow us to be better as a company.
It is very difficult to change implicit bias in a 4-hour session or even a 4-month session. But what we can do is make people more aware of their biases. And if Starbucks is committed to doing this on a continuous basis, we might be able to change the experiences of some customers.
What do you say to critics who say, look, this is just one big PR stunt?
Well, this is not a PR stunt. This is an investment in the future of Starbucks. So this will be a long journey, but it's one we are committed to. These are hard issues when you begin dialogue around race and racial bias, but we're approaching it in a serious, thoughtful way with a lot of help from our outside advisors, and we think this is going to make a meaningful difference in who we are as a company and how we show up in the future.
Following the Parkland shooting, there was the hashtag Boycott NRA movement. In response, at least a dozen companies, including Delta Airlines, MetLife Insurance, and Wyndham Hotels, cut ties with the NRA and ended discount programs. And sometimes the virtual protests force face-to-face confrontations. Take Waffle House.
They're saying that they're closed. The customers are eating.
They're having to be white customers only.
After 2 racially charged incidents were caught on tape the same day, Waffle House met with protesters at their headquarters in Atlanta.
Before social media, companies had a luxury of either being in denial about the public felt or choosing to act otherwise. But with social media, every person has their own media outlet, every person's their own publisher. And when something like this gets going, it's literally a wildfire on social media. And it's not controllable, and the company has to make decisions.
I think social media is prompting companies to be more proactive than they normally would have been, where we maybe in the past would have seen people just kind of try and ride out the storm. You just can't do that anymore.
Today, ABC's response reaffirming the notion that free speech doesn't mean you won't pay a price for what you say.
Disney has been a leader in promoting positive images of African Americans. On Disney Channel, they have Doc McStuffins, they have Blackish, they're the studio behind Black Panther. You can't have it both ways. You can't be the leader and then lag behind when it comes to doing the right thing.
For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in New York.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.